Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The date is 29th Muharram 1447 on the Islamic calendar and 24th July 2025 on the Gregorian calendar. And you are watching Muslim World News with me, your host, Abdurrahman Muhammad. Let's take a minute and dive into today's headlines. Government using terror law to curb rights. Bahrain commits $17 billion investment. Singapore to host the 8th edition of ASBF. Kenya ready for CHAN tournament. Dear viewers, on to our first story of the day. Right here in Kenya, the government is under intense criticism after slapping anti-government protesters with terrorism charges, facing accusation of attempting to intimidate and silence dissent. The Prevention of Terrorism Act, the law under which over 1,500 people are about to be prosecuted with, was crafted to combat groups like the Al-Shabaab and other radical misfits. Some political leaders and human rights activists have called out the government agencies for abusing the legislation to criminalize protests. Siaya Governor James Orengo criticized the state's move, saying it's illogical and deeply troubling that Kenyans could be charged with terrorism for participating in protests. Labeling protesters as terrorists is not only unjustified but dangerous. It risks eroding constitutional freedom, said Hussein Khalid, Executive Director of Haki Africa. Instead of addressing the grievances, critics say the government is choosing a path of criminalization. Nearly 1,500 people have been arrested since June 2025, with dozens charged with terrorism and malicious damage to property. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, ODPP, in a statement on July 21st defended the charges, saying the investigation indicated the acts of violence witnessed during the protests were coordinated and calculated to attack government installations. Civil society organizations, including the Police Reform Working Group, have condemned the state's actions, warning of a shrinking democratic space. The government is weaponizing anti-terrorism law to silence dissent, the group said in a statement, calling for the immediate withdrawal of terrorism charges against protesters. Legal experts saying applying the Prevention of Terrorism Act in this context marks a bad precedent. Frustration across the country is boiling over, and observers say the government's heavy-handed approach could backfire politically. With the 2027 elections creeping closer, many are starting to wonder if President Ruto's team is running out of ideas and turning to force as a way of clinging to power. For our second story right here at home, Cooperative Bank of Kenya has partnered with Optiven Limited and Everstrong Maskani LLP to launch a new housing initiative aimed at making home ownership more accessible for Kenyans both locally and in the diaspora. The partnership, unveiled under the Maskani Bora Turnkey project, provides a one-stop solution for acquiring land, building homes, and securing financing. Cooperative Bank will offer mortgage loans up to 10.5 million shillings for homes valued at 15 million shillings or less, in line with the Kenyan Mortgage Refinance Company KMRC guidelines. Under the agreement, Optiven Limited will facilitate land procurement, Everstrong Maskani LLP will oversee design and construction, while Cooperative Bank will provide the financing. The project promises to deliver fully constructed homes within 12 months, offering transparency, professional project management, and eliminating the need for upfront payment. Measures designed to reduce risk and hidden cost for clients. This approach aims to build trust among home buyers and increase access to quality, affordable housing. Dear watchers, our next story takes us to South Sudan, where the South Sudan's main opposition party, Sudan People's Liberation Movement in opposition, has rejected President Salva Kiir's call for national dialogue, citing ongoing detention and military offensives. The party said the dialogue is impossible while key opposition figures remain in custody, and Vice President Riek Machar is under house arrest. The SPLMIO spokesperson, Pal Maideng, called Kiir's appeal insincere and contradictory. The opposition warned that the peace agreement signed in 2018 is in danger of collapsing if the current situation continues. Civil society groups and the UN have echoed the warning, with concerns that the country may slide back into civil war if tension are not resolved urgently. Now, shifting our focus onto business news, Bahrain has pledged over $17 billion in investment in the United States, which deals covering aviation, energy technology, and nuclear cooperation. The announcement was made during a meeting between Crown Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa and President Donald Trump at the White House. A major part of the investment includes a $7 billion deal for 12 Boeing aircraft and 40 GE engines, expected to create around 30,000 US jobs. Bahrain will also partner with Oracle and Cisco to replace Chinese servers and enhance its tech infrastructure. Additional investments will go towards the US energy, aluminium production, LNG, and artificial intelligence development. An agreement on peaceful nuclear cooperation is also in progress, with Bahrain's king expected to visit Washington later this year to finalize the deals. Away from that story, still on business, we focus on Singapore to host the 8th edition of Africa's Singapore Business Forum. Singapore is set to become the hub for Asia-Africa economic collaboration next month. The 8th edition of the Africa Singapore Business Forum, or the ASBF, will take place from August 26th to 28th, bringing together hundreds of global businesses and government leaders. Themed Bridging Capabilities, Charting Sustainable Growth, ASBF 2025 will focus on the fast-growing sectors including energy, digital technology, smart cities, and sustainable finance. More than 700 delegates from over 30 countries are expected to attend. The forum, hosted by Enterprise Singapore, aims to strengthen partnerships and unlock trade opportunities between Africa and Asia markets. The forum comes at a time when Africa economics are drawing increased attention for their role in carbon markets, manufacturing, and cross-border trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Since its launch in the 2010, the ASBF has facilitated over 5,000 cross-border connections, including successful ventures in energy and urban infrastructure. ASBF 2025 is expected to set the tone for a deeper economic tie between Asia and Africa, with Singapore right at the center of it. Now, on a more positive note, Islam is now the fastest growing religion in the world, with projections showing it could surpass other religions by the end of this century. Driven by high birth rates, a youthful population, migration, and increasing conversion rates, the faith is expanding across continents. Shaban Yusuf explores the key factors fueling the global rise of Islam and what it means for the future of religious identities worldwide.
Across continents and culture, the Islamic faith is witnessing a remarkable growth, not just in numbers, but also in influence, purpose, and interest. While some may attribute this rise to conversion alone, research shows that the growth of Islam is largely demographic, influenced by birth rates, youth population, and migration patterns. But beyond the numbers lies a deeper story of identity, conviction, and spiritual revival. According to a report by the Pew Research Center, Islam is the world's fastest growing major religion, with projection estimating that by 2050, the number of Muslims will nearly equal to that of Christians globally, around 2.8 billion each. One key factor fueling this growth is high fertility. Muslim families, on average, have 3 children per woman, compared to 2 among non-Muslims. The youthful nature of Islam population also plays a major role. The median age of Muslims globally is 24 years compared to 32 for non-Muslims. This means a large portion of Muslims are entering or are in their childbearing years, ensuring sustained population growth for decades to come. In Western countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, conversion to Islam is also on the rise. Studies show that 23% of American Muslim adults are converts, with many citing reasons such as the clarity of belief, discipline, and strong moral code. Migration has also helped spread Islam beyond its traditional borders. The influx of Muslims into Europe over the last 2 decades has reshaped the religious landscape. Mosques, Islamic centers, and schools have become more common, fostering vibrant and visible Muslim communities. Moreover, digital platforms and social media have played a part in spreading Islamic teaching and breaking the stereotypes. Young Muslims are using platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram to educate, advocate, and inspire. The internet has become a dawah tool, says Sheikh Abdul Rahman Musa, an Islamic scholar in Nairobi. He added that it's helping demystify Islam and show its beauty to the world. While the world continues to evolve, so does its religious makeup. While statistics continue to show the Islamic growth, it is the purpose, resilience, and sense of true belief that helps to make Islamic growth. Sheban Yusuf, Al Huda TV.
Turning now to sports news, with just over 2 weeks to go before the start of the African Nation Championship, CHAN 2024 to 2025 has officially handed over the Nyayo National Stadium to the tournament's local organizing committee. The stadium will host 6 key fixtures, including selected Group A matches and the decisive Group C clash between Algeria and Nigeria. The handover by the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports marks a major milestone in Kenya's preparation as co-hosts alongside Tanzania and Uganda for the 2nd to 30th August competition dedicated to exclusively to home-based players. Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Mr. Salim Mvurya, confirmed that the upgrades to the stadium have met all the requirements set out by CAF following the series of rigorous inspections. Still ahead on sports news, Kenyan marathon world record holder Ruth Chepngetich has been provisionally suspended after testing positive for hydrochlorothiazide, a banned diuretic and masking agent. The Athletics Integrity Unit confirmed the substance was found in a sample collected in March 2025, and Chepngetich accepted the suspension in April. The 30-year-old made history in 2024 by running a world record time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 56 seconds at the Chicago Marathon. She is also a former world champion and 3-time Chicago Marathon winner. If found guilty, she could face up to a 2-year ban. Now taking a look at the tennis world, Younes Jabeur, the first Arab woman to reach a Grand Slam final, has taken an indefinite break from tennis to focus on her mental and physical well-being. The decision follows her emotional first-round retirement at Wimbledon 2025 after struggling with injuries and declining form. Once ranked world's number 2, she has dropped to number 71 with early exits from recent major tournaments. In a social media post, Jabeur said she wants to rediscover the joy of living. She thanked fans for their support and clarified that this is not retirement. Fellow players like Ariane Sabalenka backed her decision, while Jabeur hinted at personal goals beyond tennis, including starting a family. And finally, diving into the football world, Real Madrid star Jude Bellingham has undergone successful shoulder surgery and will be sidelined until October. The injury, which dates back to November 2023, was managed through season as he delayed treatment to play in the Euro 2024 and the Club World Cup. The 21-year-old is expected to miss the start of La Liga and Champions League fixtures, including the Madrid derby. Bellingham thanked fans and medical staff, saying he's focused on recovery and will return stronger. Dear watchers, that's all we had lined up for you today, but for something I found quite interesting, in Kenya it's illegal for anyone to call themselves a doctor unless they are actually registered and licensed. So if your Dr. Mwangi can't show you papers, you might just be talking to a DJ, not a GP. If you didn't know, well, now you know. That brings us to the end of today's program of Muslim World News. I've been yours truly, Abdul Rahman Muhammad. It's been a pleasure having you with us. Stay informed, stay inspired, and may peace be upon you. Until next time.